What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another live unboxing here today, which I'm very, very excited about. So, for everybody who rocks in today, I appreciate you showing up. I hope you enjoy. And if you have any questions, please throw them my way as I unbox the Iron Man Mark III Special Edition from Hot Toys, sent to me by the champions over at Pop Collectibles. So, big shout out to Pop Collectibles for sending it over so quickly. I got him earlier in the week and I decided to wait until today, a time that I could do it, actually have a bit of time to sit down and unbox this bad boy and welcome him to the collection. So if you're here watching and you want to ask any questions, hop in the chat, throw them in, and we'll unbox him, maybe pair him up with some other figures and maybe attempt to pose as well. But really excited just to check out this figure, as he is the one who kicked off the collection back in the day. So very, very excited about this. And let me know if you guys are getting this figure as well. So we'll start off with the box. I always like to put the box up here at the top. It's epic. It looks cool. Get you hyped up to open the figure, which I quite like. I've already taken it out, so it's nice and empty. But for those who like boxes, it's very cool. Mine do get stacked away as I don't have the space to display them in the room. But this one, like they pretty much all do, looks pretty cool. Now, I have a vision for my Iron Man collection. You can see back here, this shelf here is empty. This is part of a two-part shelf that I'll be doing for my Iron Man collection and display, which I've been waiting for this figure to get in to actually work on. So we'll pull out the rest of it that comes with. So it comes with this, obviously standard Iron Man packaging, which I prefer to the clamshell. You got two parts. You got the top bit, obviously, that has the figure, which I'm sure most of you already know and have seen through all the other reviews and things that get done. So I won't beat on about it, but it is quite a lot of stuff. He comes with a lot. And this second part is probably the part I'll open first, and then we'll get to the figure. He comes with a lot of stuff, which is really cool. And I've been trying to think about how I want to display that. And I have a bit of an idea of what I want to do. I haven't seen anybody kind of do it yet, so I'm excited that I may be able to pull something off, but we'll see as the stream goes on, I guess. Collector Joey, what's up, brother? Thanks for being here, mate. You enabled this one for me already. I already bought it. Good. Well, hopefully I'll get you hyped up to get him out and start posing him up, mate. Because I took a quick sneak peek in the box just to take the plastics off, because you don't want to see me fumble around with plastic on here. And already I could tell it's such a great looking figure. But thanks for being here, Joey. I can't wait till you get him, man. You're going to love it. I need to get the Mark IV reissued, because I missed out on that one back in the day. And I would like to add that to my Iron Man display in 1.6. Butcher's in the house. What's up, brother? Just got my notification, had to pause Loki. I know, often mentioned to me that Loki just came out, and I'm like, damn it, I didn't plan that very well. But this is literally the only time. I got about an hour and 20 minutes to unbox this bad boy. And I haven't done a live unboxing for a long time. So I thought, now's the time, not realizing this is when Loki is on, as I'll be watching it later in the day today. I'm very excited to see it. So thanks for doing that, Butch. You didn't have to, brother. Appreciate it, though. Thanks for being here. Japoy is in the house. What's up, everyone? At last collector with the same time. At last to collect with the same time zone. Tell me about it. I normally stream at like 5:30 in the morning to meet up a bit better. So 9 a.m. is a different time for me. I'll be going straight to work after this. But I do like this time. I'm not worrying about rushing like I do in the morning, or I'm just waking up. But again, he comes with batteries. Now, if I didn't get this hot toy from Pop Collectibles, I wouldn't actually get any batteries, because any Iron Man that comes into Western Australia now, they don't give you the batteries. They're banned. These batteries are banned over here. So I've been a naughty boy, and I've gotten it from overseas. And because I do that, that's how I get the batteries with it. Not that I really use them anymore, because they don't last very long. Generally only for photography. That's a bit of a shame. I think lighting them up a different way with USBs will be the future idea for the display once I've done it. But already, guys, I can tell you there's a ton of accessories. You got all the battle damage pieces here, which I haven't decided whether I want to battle damage him up or have him clean. It's going to kind of depend how I put him into the display. But I like accessories for the option to do lots of different things. Now, this base, The base is the only other thing really other than the accessories in the bottom tray, because it's actually pretty big. But before I show you that, I'm so happy they gave us the crotch piece again for Iron Man. All Iron Man figures or heavy figures should come with this crotch piece to go with the flight pole. Just for better safety, you can pull off better poses. You can get them angled much better. You don't have to worry about the paint scratching as much. There's a little Stark Industries thing that comes with it. You can't really do anything with it, but it's just part of the packaging. Pretty cool. Now, I don't know. Japoy, you getting this figure? I know Joey is. I want to know who else is getting this, because this, for me, guys, this movie is what started it off for me, and I didn't get into collecting until after the film, so I missed out on all the original Mark III, Mark IV, all those types of ones. So for me, I'm excited that they're getting redone. I'm really happy about that. So I can get them. So the Ironmonger, I think he looks sweet. I don't have the Ironmonger, and now I don't know if I need to, because I'm limited for space in the Iron Man shelf as it is. So something like this to accompany my figures. I love dioramas. Yes, they take up a lot of space, but I love working the figures around them. It's just something I enjoy looking at when I look on the shelf. I like to see them with dioramas or things to interact with. So something like this, I'm all for Hot Toys doing these diorama bases. I do have a nitpick about it just by looking at it and seeing what other people have done. Obviously, actually, before I get ahead of myself, is the bottom piece. These bottom nameplates are sick. It's about time that Hot Toys started doing a little bit fancier nameplates on movies, on the figures, especially for something like Iron Man. And I have to say, this one actually feels good. It feels high quality. And it just actually looks really cool. I love the simplicity of it. Now, this bit connects like that. So pretty straightforward, I'm assuming. I think it is quite tough to get in, so I've heard, because you have to get it in under the lip here, I think, at the back. So let's just see how he sits. He does actually look a little strange to get on there. Interesting. Trust Hot Toys not to make it easy. There we go. That'll do for now. So there it is. You have him climbing up. I think that's sick. What do you guys think? Let me know. Renz is here. What's up, Renz? Thanks for being here, brother. And DS, what's up? He says dioramas are the opposite of trash. That is correct. Dioramas are sick, and this one is really cool. I actually really like how they've painted the eyes. If I can move that, I think the painted eyes work really well. Oh, it's actually not stuck on there. What do you know? Why are they got to make it so difficult? Or either that or I'm just a gazelle. I can't get it on the bottom. Ah, there we go. There we go. So if you angle it from the back first, it should slide on a bit better. Boom. Okay. So base looks sick. Only nitpick, I think, is the standing space. There's not much room to put him. And I think that's where they've brought this flight pole in, which I don't really know why. It's a long flight pole too. It's actually quite long. So it's going to sit up pretty high on the figure. I think they've brought this in so you could have him more dynamic, flying, maybe hovering above it or standing up or stepping up on top of the base. But, you know, you want a bit of space for the figure to stand on. You want him to be able to stand here, I think. Now, if I take this off again, it looks like there's another spot here for a flight pole, a different spot than the spot that comes with the base here. There's a flight pole piece here. It's a bit hard for you to see on my laptop camera, so I do apologize, but that plugs into there. Completely different spot than what this is. So I'm thinking, do they want you to be able to use it like this? Let's just see if that actually goes in there. And it does. Now, that's cool if you wanted to just use this base like that. The only problem is you've got the big divots in there, and that's a little ugly. So I think the only way this would look good is if you're seeing it from front on and he's standing and you actually can't see the divots. If you wanted to do some photography, but even still, if you're standing him over it, when you look at it on the shelf, you're going to see those divots. So very strange that that's there. I'm wondering, and let me know if anybody's watching this who knows, if this is a reused older shape of a base and that they've maybe just not covered up the hole there. It says 2023 on the back, so not sure. That's a bit strange. 2 flagpole spots, different areas. You would think you would have made the interchangeable part of the base a bit different if that's the case. And this bit that really doesn't want to go on, does it? You've really got to wedge it in under there. Interesting. Like that. Bear with me, guys. There we go. Okay. So we'll leave that there for a second. Let's get the big boy out. Now, one of my favorite moments in the movies was especially watching the first one, when he gets the suit and he goes and he lands in that town where he goes and saves the hostages and everything. I'm going to try and recreate that pose, and that's the thumbnail I used for this. So I'm actually going to try and recreate that today. So we're going to see how that goes. Spooder Kid, what's up? Thanks for being here, mate. Any questions on Mark III, just let me know. But I can tell you guys, just the presence when I was taking the plastic off of this piece, it's pretty crazy. And I wouldn't even say it's my favorite suit design. It's more the nostalgia of the first film and little pieces of the design that I think I really like. So we'll get him out here like that. I hope my lighting works okay, guys, because I only do use my laptop for this. But he's heavy, he's a beast, and I think they've done a really good job from all the other imagery I've seen of the original pieces to recreate this in diecast. I've watched a lot of videos from other people so far as well on what they've been doing, and noticed that because I didn't have any of these previous pieces, I didn't realize some of the different limitations. So we'll go over that as we go through articulation with him. But he is designed a bit differently than the newer hot toy figures. So if you're like me and you've come to getting these older designs later, like the Mark V, that's a bit of a different design than the newer nanotech ones, or even the Mark 46 and 47. The mechanical parts are a bit different on this, which I actually think it's cool that it's different, but I would have liked some of the other newer advancements that they'd put in the newer figures, things like the biceps and stuff. So the bicep plates don't move up like the nanotech ones. Obviously, that makes sense in the nanotech sense, but I think he still had good enough mobility to bend his arms a bit better in the film. Correct me if I'm wrong, but for the figure, they only come up to there, which is a bit of a shame. In saying that, the types of ideas and displays I have, I don't think it's going to worry about it too much. I don't think it would affect it too much. I kind of like, and for others out there who like to pose their figures, I like the fact that some figures have different limitations, because then you have to get creative with how you're going to display them. And part of the fun for me when it comes to making videos or posing up figures or doing photography or any of that type of stuff is I like trying to work around the challenges of what the figure presents, to try and get that good shot or get that good pose or get that thing that you maybe thought you couldn't do with the figure. That's just something that I like to do with my collection. I know it's different for everybody, but I kind of like that this has different limitations, because then I'm like, okay, what type of scenes or displays can I create using him with the limitations that they have, and also the benefits. But this suit, man, it definitely reminds me of, I definitely thought about doing the classic walking away pose scene that I'm sure everybody and their dog's going to do. And a couple of the ones from the film, I think holding the helmet, all those types of things with the head sculpt on is a good idea. But I think for me with this guy, I don't know if I want to have him in a landing pose because he has that capability, or if I want to have him incorporating with the base. Difference is, if you want him doing a landing pose, it doesn't really work with this base. And if you want to have him interacting with the base and standing, you got a very limited spot for him to stand here like that, which doesn't get you a lot to do. Like, so there's obviously going to be posing where you can put the foot up on the base, have him resting up on it. I've seen a couple of people like Jetta Patrol and Justin and MRC Collection Ventures. I've watched their videos already, and they've done some good poses. Actually, Terry as well, Terry Smith. He did some good poses with him. But the base is, again, limiting in that sense. Looks great, but unless you get super creative, not a lot you can do if you just want to have him on it, especially without a flight pole. Luckily, Iron Man figures balance pretty well. This damn base isn't sticking on there for me, actually, which is a little annoying now. Let's see if I can click it in that way. I'm assuming once you get it on, you're never taking it off. So there's that. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right, so any questions so far, guys, on the Mark III or first impressions? I definitely will say it's heavier than what I thought it would be, and I don't know why that is. I think I'm just being weird with that. But the proportions look really good. I actually really love the head on this one, the helmet. It looks great. And all the chest pieces up here. So I'll bring him a bit closer to the screen so you can get a good look at him. I've got a warm light over here from the left coming in just to bounce off him a bit, because I like how that red goes with the light, bounces off the red and gold. If you look at him like that, he's just got a great classic Iron Man 1 look. For me, a big part of it is how different the chest plate is to the Mark IV, which is, I actually prefer the Mark IV chest plate better than this one. But I love this torso as well, the way the torso is designed. He's got that thicker upper shoulder, and he kind of tapers off into like a V taper down here, which I think is a really cool look. And when you watch the film, it's just iconic. As we bring him around the back. Very sleek. I haven't put any batteries in or anything, as I did only just take off the plastic. But I will do that at some point just to get a couple of shots and to make sure the battery ports work. But so far, so good. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is deciding, one, whether I want to use all the battle damage pieces, because the figure itself actually does have quite a lot of, when you're looking at it in person, I know it's really hard to see on camera, but there are lots of little scuffs and scratches on it, which does add to the realism. And I really do like that. Question is, the battle damage pieces look really battle damaged. And a thing that has always put me off about battle damage is when there's certain battle damage pieces and the rest of it looks really clean. That kind of can throw me off sometimes. But from what I've seen other people say, it looks good. I wanted to see what it looked like in hand, because in hand, again, it's different than what it is on camera. I'll just bring him there for a second while I get out some more pieces. He stands, stands really well. We'll put this guy behind him like this, maybe. I mean, some people might even display it off. You could even display him off the piece like that if you wanted to kind of even use this as a display piece. But again, that takes up a lot of room in the display. Now, I got the one with let's get you back out of the way, the special smashed helmet. I was neither here nor there for it. I mean, it's a cool little addition. I thought I would rather have it than not have it, because I think for photography and maybe a display at some point, I would use the head sculpt, the Tony Stark head sculpt, and have him hold this helmet. Getting a character to hold their helmet is always a fun pose to do on the display. And I think a fair one to do if you want to do something safe, simple, but I think is a good pose to have your characters in, is have him holding their helmet. And I thought about maybe, what if I had him sitting on this somehow, or leaning on it, or sitting near it, or something, like after the battle's done. But I don't know if that like holding the helmet. Again, I don't know if that really works. This kind of looks like an action scene of him busting out through the rubble. So sometimes a diorama will dictate what type of display you're going to do with it. And I think a display like this dictates maybe an action scene. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. But I like the idea of Tony holding this damaged helmet and maybe sitting down, like resting, like he's just had a massive battle. which he did in the film Stay Tony. That helmet, really cool addition. The scratched up face plates, the hands are generic. I would like to see Hot Toys do some new Iron Man hands for once, other than just articulated fingers, fists, and repulsors. Like, I don't know, just give us one of those classic like hand gestures from Iron Man. I think it would be really cool. That I don't think you can capture as well with the articulated fingers than you can with a sculpted hand. Here's the scratched up faceplate, which has a few more scratches on it. You can see that there. I think that's going to look good. See, I like the look of that, which makes me think, would it look good without any other battle damage pieces? Let's see. Yeah, so that kind of works still, even without the battle damage chest plate or shoulder pieces. Again, I hope my lighting works okay here. Let's get him in a bit closer. Obviously, it'd look a little bit better lit up. But I am leaning towards that, especially for that final scene, having him hold the helmet with all the other battle damage pieces. But it's not my original idea. Okay, let's see who else is here. William Owens is in the house. What's up, brother? Thanks for being here. Any questions, just throw them my way. Can you put the damaged helmet to the body? Oh, no, you can't. So the damaged helmet, well, it has a ball joint on it. No, it looks too big though. Ball joint looks too big. So I don't think he can. There is definitely a hole there. Let's have a look. Let's take his head off and just see. No. Oh, oh wow. Rant. That's what he looks like with the damaged head sculpt on there. Yeah, that's not going to work. But technically, Rand, you could. If you wanted to do another zombie Iron Man coming after Spidey with Mysterio, you'd have his crumpled head like that, maybe with the battle damaged. Or if you wanted to have Ironmonger winning, you could have him messed up like that. Hilarious. But it does go on there. Let's get back this other helmet. Yeah, man, he is a beast. And he is an absolute beast. I'm actually really looking forward to creating some displays with him in this base. And have Ironmonger Hulk Cap's head. Hulk clap Tony's head. You could. You actually could. William says, this is an amazing figure, a great upgrade to the previous version. Yeah, like I said, I don't have the previous one, but I've seen the pictures, and the size difference, William, was crazy, right? The size difference in them, I couldn't believe the difference in size that they've done. Oh, what's up? Tons in the house. Well, I managed to catch a live. Thanks for being here, brother. My brother-in-law in the house. What's going on, mate? Thanks for being here. He actually has the original Iron Man Mark III from Hot Toys in its box, crisp, from memory. It does work, Rance. No neck, Tony. Yeah, he's been lifting. He's been juicing too much. He's definitely juiced up. Let's just get him there. I am going to start posing him up in a minute because I really want to see. I want to show you guys, if I can, the thumbnail picture. I don't know if I have it on here. Let me see if I can upload it. There's the pose from the thumbnail that I really want to put on here and see if he can do, because he has the waist that bends and crunches. I'm like, oh, maybe this is the figure that can actually do that pose. Let's just see. I don't know if I have the picture here. Damn it. I don't think I do. But it's on the thumbnail. Yeah, see, Tun's got it crispy as in the box. I think it's too late. I don't think you can ever open it. It's more valuable now if it just stays in there, Tun. It just stays in the box. Okay, let's get the head sculpt up. Because this is where I'm torn, guys. I really like this Tony head sculpt. But for this Iron Man, I kind of want to have the helmet on. I don't know. It really comes down to how you want to display your figures. So here's the Tony head sculpt. I think this Tony head sculpt is on point. Let's get him there. Apologies for my lighting, guys. I think I'd be a bit more professional with it. But I actually really, really love this Tony Sculpt head sculpt. Let's see if I can shine the light on it a bit better. Is that better? No, it's not better. Yeah, it's too warm. But this head sculpt, it looks like it's another version of the mech test with just some different changes. So I think Justin was right. I think he said that on his video. It looked like the mech test head sculpt. I think it does. I have the mech test here. See, I really like it. I think it's a really, really cool head sculpt. Question is, do I want to display him in a more museum-esque pose holding the helmet? I mean, you could do an action scene, but I like action scenes to have faces that go along with it. And sometimes if it's a relaxed face or a plain face expression, it doesn't work for action poses. Like Shang-Chi and Wenwu, I loved posing those guys up, but trying to do action poses with plain, serious faces doesn't necessarily work as well as I would like. So if I was going to use this head sculpt, it would be more something museum-esque, posed, standing around, holding the helmet or doing something like that, I think. How do you guys feel about that? William says, how is the finish compared to the other Iron Man figures? Is it a matte finish or a slight gloss? I'd say it's a slight gloss, William. It's not, it doesn't feel as matte as the Mark 7. In fact, I have the Mark 7 here. I'll get it out. It's just behind me. And if you have the flight test Tony, it works. Yes, flight test Tony. Yes, I don't have the flight test Tony. Oh, wait, flight test? You mean the mech test? Sorry, yes, flight, that one. I do. After he crashed. Yeah, you could do that, Renz. So, and I'm going to get into how I want to display these guys because I'll bring the other two figures out. I'll just create some space. I love that it has lots of accessories like the arm shield, the arm rockets. I think the arm rockets would be the one I would use the most. The arm shields look cool, but I don't know if it's something that I'm going to use for like a long-term display. It might be something I do for photography or a posing video. But my vision for how I want to display these guys, and these two shelves behind me below here is where the Iron Man display will be. I'll kind of want to have from Iron Man 1 all the way up to Endgame with my favorite suits. Now, I'm not a completionist. I don't go and get every Iron Man figure. But I get, I've got a lot. I've got like 16, 17 Iron Mans. It's quite a lot, as he's one of my main things that I collect. But once I add the Mark 6 and Gantry, that's going to take up a lot of space. All these new figures are taking up a lot of space with their bases, and that'll be evident when I pull up the other two. So I've got the flight test version of Tony in the garage with dummy, and I've got the Mark 1, the Mark 1 out of the cave version, which also has a big base. So they have the mech test or the flight test suit has a big base with a big accessory. The Mark 1 has a big base. And then this one is a huge base, a space eater. So my idea is to have those three together. And then next to them, I'll have Iron Man 2. So I'll have the suit up Mark 5. And then I'm going to have the Mark 5 with Whiplash fighting in front. So I think I'm going to have the Mark 5 suit up like higher up in the middle, kind of displayed like a triangle. And then the Whiplash and Mark 5 suited version battling down below. And then for the Iron Man 1 film display, it'll be the Mark 1, the mech test, and then Mark 3 kind of in a V as well. So in the shelf, it'll be 6 figures until I add the Mark 4 and Mark 6, obviously, for Iron Man 2. Damn, he had a lot of suits, figures from that film. It's going to take up a whole freaking shelf just for Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2. But let's get back to the gloss test. Where's the Mark 7? Let's have a look. For William. Yeah, so that's kind of what my main goal is for Iron Man, is to display him from film 1 all the way to Endgame with my favorite suits, creating scenes or displays that tell a little story for why I love Iron Man so much. I'm just pulling the Mark 7 out. I had him laying down. We'll just test the... where's the button? We'll test the color difference. But I definitely think Mark 7 is more matte, William. Let's see. So forgive his non-closed. Still one of my favorite figures altogether, actually, this Mark 7. I think it's forever going to be a classic. If you put them together, it'd be hard to tell on that lighting, but he's definitely, Mark 3 is definitely a little bit more glossy than Mark 7. Mark 7 is definitely more finicky and it has a thicker back, definitely, with all the accessories. Now, I haven't put on those extra wing pieces for the Mark 3 yet, but you can see Mark 7 at the front here is definitely thicker, a lot thicker than the Mark 3. Now, to my understanding, the Mark 3 has to be a little bit more matte, I think, to match the film, or a little bit of a darker red, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But then if we put, I thought it would be interesting to put the Mark 3 next to the last mechanical suit that he had, which was the Mark 46. Just to see the difference, because the 46 is one of my favorite figures, one of my favorite designs from one of my favorite films. Again, sorry, he's not posed up. He's been waiting for the display to start getting built. If we look at it size-wise, next to each other, pretty similar, but I'd say the Mark 3 is definitely, he's wider, he's chunkier. Mark 46 feels definitely more sleek, especially in the midsection area. The upper shoulders and back, I think, for the Mark 3 are definitely wider and just bulkier. He's obviously gotten a little bit more slick with his design as he went on. But I thought for a comparison for his first mechanical suit, essentially, to his last mechanical suit, quite a bit of difference in design and size-wise. What do you guys think? All right. So, again, the reds are pretty similar, but when it comes to the 46 and 3, the 3 is definitely more matte. So 3 is more matte than the 46, but the 7 is more matte than the 3. Actually, next to the 46, he looked really matte red, but next to the 7, he doesn't look as matte. That's interesting. What do you say, William? I like the mechanical detailing around the neck of the Mark III. Yes, I do too. I do too, William. And that's one of the parts that's really nostalgic for me. I remember in the film when it zooms into him before his helmet goes on, and you see all the mechanical bits moving. That's a really fun scene. All right, so let's get into. If you guys have many other questions on him, I'll get into kind of just giving you my thoughts about the figure, I guess, and how he poses, but also how I want to display them. Because at the minute, for those who follow my videos on my channel, I've got a new series called On the Shelf, where I'm doing poses on the shelf as opposed to on the turntable. And I do that because more and more I've been thinking about what my end game for my display is. Space is limited. I have the cabinets back here. I have another 2 DF 120s, I think, on the way, which are the bigger ones, so I can fit my quarter scales in there as well. And I have a couple of other display areas and DTOF-esque cabinets. So my displays, that's about the area that I'm allowing myself to work within. Iron Man's one of my main characters. Mando, things like Spider-Man, they're my main things that I'm into. And just fortunate enough that they're quite popular, and Hot Toys makes a lot of them. But on the flip side of that, I'm pushing the room side of things. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? What's the goal for how I want to display them? I just want to have them lying around, not being displayed, or just to make content with. So for Iron Man, because he's what got me back into comic book movies and the whole genre, I still remember being in the cinema watching Iron Man 1 and just being blown away. I think being a fan of Robert Downey Jr. helped me, was what's prompted me to go see the film in the first place. That he was a part of it. So that's a big thing for me, Iron Man. So I want to figure out the best way to display his character and capture different moments from him, or all types of things throughout the 2 shelves that will kind of span across, like the Spider-Man one. With the bases taking up a lot of space, it's going to be harder to fit pieces in. So I've got to be clever with how I want to display them. And so I thought for this today, I'd kind of show you a rough idea of how I want to put them together. because I think the Mark III is perfectly accompanied by the Mark I and the flight test. So I'm just going to put these down here for a sec, and I'm going to get them up on the table, just so you can see how much space they actually take up with these bases. Maybe I should put Tony on this base first. Hey, what do you reckon? Let's lay him down for a second, just so I can. If I could get this base to like actually sit on here properly, that'd be amazing. Instead of being impossible to do live on camera. I should have maybe thought of that beforehand. You've really got to get the lip under here by the looks of it. Damn. Note to self. Check this shit before you go live. There we go. Get in there. And just so you guys can see, when you get it in hands yourself, don't stress out too much that it's difficult to get in, because I'm telling you, like, it's actually really difficult to get on there. And it just, when I thought I had it, it didn't go on. Here we go. Get on there, you bugger. Here we go. I need to lift more weights by the sounds of it. Damn. You guys hear that? That's the sound of me fearing that I'm going to break something. There you go. Holy moly, that's tough. Not a good design choice. Hot Toys. Okay. God damn. He's on. All right. So let's stand him there for a second. That's not how I'm going to display him. FYI. Let's just stand for a second. Even if I'm to stand him in the space that they've given you to stand him, it blocks his face. It blocks Ironmonger's face. Like, really? Yeah, I don't know. Strange what they did with the space. Nevertheless, let's get the Mark I out here. So give you an idea of what I'm thinking. And if the mic drops out, I do apologize. I think it drops out when I'm not close to it. So just let me know in the chat. We're going to have the Mark I. So, I mean, that's a big ass piece. And this is just a random pose I had him in. So if he's testing his flamethrowers, shooting it down at the ground. So just these two together next to each other. If you look at the space the two bases take up. Now, keeping in mind, I actually love these bases. I think they're really cool. Looking wise, I love the banners. I love the banner of Iron Man 1 here. I think these two are going to go great together on the shelf. Then you've got the mech test version here. Again, space-wise, maybe I'll have to pull him back. Let me pull him at the front. So just the three figures. It's kind of a love-hate thing with me. I love the bases. I love the dioramas, but trying to get them to fit. If you're going to spread out the bases, that's what you're looking at. Ren says, what are you saying? The Ironmonger. Where did I put it? The Ironmonger base diorama is perfect for a 112. Yeah, it'd be perfect for a 112. Look, it's going to look great when you have him interacting with it, or maybe, like, again, the flight pole makes me think that they want you to have him like up here or out here or hovering somehow. So I don't know, like, I just don't feel like that's how I would want to display Iron Man 1 in a hovering pose above him, unless you kind of did what you had him like flying back or reacting to what the base is doing, like interacting with it. So if he's busting out of the ground, you can have him interacting with it, but then his back is facing you, unless you did it like that way, displayed it like that. And you could kind of angle it like that, I guess, and maybe have him standing over here. But again, there's not that much space to have him. That's about it on the space. Not much. Yeah, it reminds me of the Mark 46, that base, the second base that came. Looked really cool, but again, very small area. But I think if you paired it with something like for that Iron Man, he did a lot more flying in it, so I could understand you'd have that one hovering. But what do you guys think? You guys who are going to get the Mark III, would you want to have him in a flying pose, or do you prefer to have him more statuesque, standing, or in a ground pound pose? Because I think there's definitely two different types of displays: people who like to do dynamic stuff and people who don't like to do dynamic stuff. Or if you're like me, I like to do a mixture. I think a good dynamic pose can work, but long term it can damage the figure, depending on what figure it is. So do you go more statuesque, like something like this suit test version? I'd leave him in a dynamic flight test type pose. And if you haven't even brought in Dummy's huge. If you brought him in, it'd be even bigger. So just having these three together, my challenge is going to be, how do I put these three together in a display to capture Iron Man 1? What are my favorite things of that? I think for the Mark 1, maybe using his flamethrowers to shoot out a pretend enemy, or if I was going to go more statuesque, just have him standing, looking tough. I think I'd definitely keep the mask down as opposed to up. Yeah, I think I'd definitely keep it down. I think it looks better with the mask on this one. And then I would have the mech test, maybe either doing a flight pose. I think the way to go with him maybe would be to not have him in a flight pose, because then I wouldn't have to use this base. This base, whilst it's cool that it has the flooring from his garage, I would have preferred they do something like this base, but have it the floor, but as in an actual diorama of like concrete, like a flat piece of concrete with this base. It's like this big ass piece of base. If you look at it like that, this guy does not need that much space. And you're not putting dummy on this part either. Generally, you're going to put dummy off to the side. Because if you put dummy on here, he's bumping into the figure if you have him in the air, if that makes sense. So this base really doesn't make any sense to me. And I think we'll add a challenge. The only thing I would think of is if I had this one hovering in the back and this one down like that, and you have three together like that. Or would you have him on the outside? Or would you go timeline order? This one starts the shelf, then you have him tinkering in his shop, and then you have maybe at the forefront, the end of the film, him standing here holding the helmet, the crumpled helmet with the head sculpt on? Or would you leave this helmet on and have him interacting with the base? You know what I mean? Like, this is museum-esque action, or would you do all museum-esque? Would you do all action? I don't know. That's going to be the dilemma for how I want to display them. But I don't see myself getting any more figures from this film unless they do a die-cast Mark II, which again, I'd just be getting that one because I love Iron Man 1 so much. And to have that to match off this, I think would be cool. Because then I think at the Mark II, I would maybe have this guy working on it, interacting with it maybe. Or have, I don't know. Yeah, that's something I'll have to figure out. But that's the idea. That's the idea of the display. So let's get him out of the way and let's pose this bad boy up. I want to see if I can actually hit a pose with him. Maybe we'll leave the Mark 1 there. Just because he's cool. Okay. The base is heavy. It's definitely going to hold the weight of the figure. That's, I wouldn't say, is a problem at all. Yeah. But let's get this guy out. How are we doing for time? So I've got about another 20 minutes, guys. So I'm going to bust out and do a pose with him and just tell you what I think about the figure when posing him. And then take any questions, obviously, if you guys have them. So contrary to what some people thought, the legs do drop down. So the first thing I'm going to do before I pose this guy up is I'm going to drop the legs down because I want to try the pose that's on the thumbnail. And to do that, I'm going to need to get dynamic. Where did I put my freaking mouse? Here we are. Renz, the current Mark II looks good, but can be better, especially with the recent Mark III. There are the parts that can be improved. Yeah, well, if they just improve the size, I think the size is where they could really improve, and maybe the paintwork. Maybe, or maybe some of the engineering. I don't know. But again, it seems like they kept a lot of the same engineering for this version as the previous ones had, from what Justin was saying. So I find it interesting that they do that. But so now I popped these bits open. I'm going to pull the legs down. Now they are quite tight. So you've got to trust yourself, because it feels like you're going to break it when you do that. I'm going to hold the waist, put my finger on the crutch, and drop the leg down. Yeah, it's scary. But when it clicks, you know you're good. I'm going to pop it open here so you can see that. So we've got the groin now opened up. The side panels are opened. There's lots of room now to move, which is going to enable me to do a cool, hopefully, landing pose. Which I think, if you guys remember in the film when he lands, when he first gets the red suit and he goes to shoot the tank, before he shoots the tank, when he lands, when he gets there, he lands, but he doesn't do a standard ground pound pose. He lands with his arms flying back, which is why I used that thumbnail picture. I'm going to try that pose because of the crunching torso. So if I come back, with the crunching torso, I'm hoping it's going to allow for the type of look I wanted to get. So I'll just show you guys here. So this torso literally will crunch forward like that. That's other Iron Mans aren't doing. They don't bend like that. You've got to pop them open. You've got to lift them up, pop them open a bit to get them to have that much mobility. Now, this pose, being that it does that, it's going to assist with doing this landing pose. And I think it will assist to do a ground pound. I've seen people do ground pounds. It's going to do ground pounds fine. But I want to take it that extra step further and do something that I haven't seen anyone do with this Mark III. So that's going to be this one. Now, from memory, I might just get the picture up on my phone, because he has his left leg up. Okay. Let me see if I can find that picture. I do want to show you guys that picture. Yeah, bear with me for a second. I'm going to get it for you, because I think this could be a really cool dynamic look that we haven't seen. Where are we? Where are we? Here we go. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Oh, no. Error with the file, of course. You bastards. Where's Offen? I need Offen Studios here. Offen, help me. If it's not going to load. Either way, well, I'm just going to have to do the damn pose to show you how it works, y'all. All right. So what we're going to do next is we're going to kick the leg up, because I want to get him in this ground pound pose. So I'm going to kick the leg up as high as I can. My idea for this is I want to have the knee not leaning back. I want it coming forward. So then we're going to bend the leg down. Ratchets are nice and strong, so that feels good. So we've kind of got him like that right now. If that's the way it's going to be, I think that's the way. And then we might bring it out to the side. And then what I'm going to do is bring the other knee down. Oh yeah, this is going to be tough to do, guys, but we're going to give it a go nonetheless. So I'm just going to get him in the position now to see if I can get his feet on the ground without destroying him. Yeah, that's tough. I don't think that's going to work. Let's see. Yeah. It's a bit too low. Damn. That's a shame. Unless... No. See, what I'm going for here is crunching him down like that. And that's actually, it's quite tough to get him into that type of position. So what I wanted to have him do is have this knee on the ground. Thing with that is there's a gap under here, which means I can't get this leg up and out as much as I want to for this look I'm going for, to have this knee on the ground like that. So then you'd have to kind of angle him off like that, which is fine because you can tweak that around like that to get down, to bring this arm down for a ground pound, and then you can kind of go that ground pound way. But I want to do something different. I want to do, maybe if I do that, let's see. So he's getting pretty dynamic now, but it shows you how well these legs move. Even for this older figure design, these legs maneuver really well. And if I crunch him in more, Jesus, he's getting in tight. Let me get kind of to a position like that. So I kind of want him, see that angle? That angle's shit. You kind of want him at this angle. The problem with that is this knee doesn't come down enough. So you kind of want to have him like that. Arms back. The crunching forward does work pretty well, but he's just not tight enough. So I think that's going to be a fail on that pose, guys, unfortunately. Unless I do... Yeah, we've got to be careful here. We don't want to break him. Okay, what if we use this? Then you can use something for leverage, and then it becomes something completely different. Let's see. And then if you're crunching him forward, yeah, so that crunch, I really like that crunch. That crunch is good. Yeah, he's not going to pull it off. I think the only way you could maybe pull off a scene like that is you have to play around with having them kneel on something. Even then, I don't think the crunch here in the abdomen is tight enough, because you really want to get this part of the body like that, to have him looking up like that. So you kind of want to be seeing it from that angle there. If we go like that. And I just don't think there's the crunch in here, and the distance between the leg and the chest is tight enough. As tight as it is, maybe from side on it looks all right. What do you guys reckon? That's kind of like a cool action pose. Maybe if I go like that. If he was looking up at an enemy, I think that would look cool. If you had Ironmonger coming at him like this, and he was looking up at him, I think that would be a cool display. But he's not. He's looking down. Unless you did something like that, like a scene like that, like he's coming out, he's facing him like that. Doesn't really work. That's a shame. I thought we'd be able to do that. I was confident when I saw people doing that torso bend. I was very confident that we'd be able to do that pose, but that's the difference between CGI and trying to make it happen with a bit of plastic and die cast. Doesn't quite move that well. It's a shame. So back to the drawing board for another type of pose. If someone else can pull off that pose, maybe you can do it. Maybe I'd try it again without being on camera live, so I can fiddle about and maybe play with angles. But I might leave his legs exposed for a second. Gives him a bit of extra height. And let's see. Maybe we'll put the head sculpt on now. We'll put the head sculpt on, see what he looks like with that. I just don't know if I want that to be the way I finally display him with the head sculpt on. I have so many Tony Stark head sculpts on things. I'm like, I kind of just want the original to have the helmet. But what would you guys do? Would you guys use the face sculpt? It is pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. And then we've got these battle damage pieces here. All right, so let's see what he looks like with the face sculpt. When you're taking off the head, try and hold the neck as you're jiggling it, because you really got to be careful. Let's see. All right, so to use the head sculpt, you need the neck adapter with a lot of Iron Man figures. If you've never had an Iron Man figure, a lot of them come with neck adapters. Bits you put in so it doesn't look like the gap of the neck is so big. Easy to slot in. And then you slot the head sculpt on. It's a tight squeeze, but I think we're there. I like to make sure it's on tight because I don't like too long a neck. That makes sense. There we go. I tell you what though, guys, the head sculpt looks pretty epic. It does look epic on there. See with his head on there. That's him looking a bit different. Damn, that kind of makes me want to use that head sculpt on there. Only problem is then, if I have him with this head sculpt on in the display for the Iron Man one, I've got two head sculpts and no actual Iron Man helmet on because there's the mech test, which is the head sculpt. And then you've got the Mark 1, which is the other helmet. And then you've got this one. So I wouldn't actually have an Iron Man with the head sculpt, with the helmet, sorry. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards wanting to use the helmet. Now I could have him holding the crumpled one, but I kind of want an Iron Man. I kind of want the original Iron Man to have that look of the helmet. What would you guys do? Does that mean I have to get two when I have one? Don't let Lani hear, but does that mean if I got two, hear me out, I could have one with this head sculpt and then one in the battle mode? That'd be too much though. That'd be too crazy. I know somebody who would do that. And I think Renz, you know someone who would definitely... Actually, I think most of you guys that are here would probably know who that is. He would definitely have two. To have one with the head sculpt and one without it. Let me just put that... Yeah, that's better. Yeah, so I think he looks great. That head sculpt is on point. I think when I get around to playing around with posing him... Oh, look there. One of the shoulder pieces have come off. So that's how you take them off to put the battle damage pieces on. Let's see how easy that is. It came off pretty damn easy then. All right, that's easy. The only thing I would worry about chopping and changing these is scratching the paint, guys. So just be careful with that. That came off pretty easy, and back on pretty easy as well. Okay, it's just, can you just stand there for a second, bro? Bro, stand, chill. Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking this head sculpt on there, especially with this orange lighting. He looks pretty darn cool with it like that. And I think once you put the battle damage pieces on, he's going to look real cool. Maybe I'll change that. I'll change that chest plate. See what it looks like. While we're here. When I always get a hot toe, I don't know if you guys are like this when you get a new figure or something. I go through all these scenarios of poses I want to do or ways of displaying it, and I'm like, I never feel I have enough time or which one to do first. I'm always like, what should I do first? That sometimes gets me. Where to start, what to do first. I don't like how these chest plates come off. I think it should be magnets. Because these bits of plastic are hectic. Oh, I should probably show you that. I'm sure you've already seen it, but there's the mechanical pieces in here. I never display them like this. The only one that I'm displaying with the chest piece off is the Mark IV gantry, because that's part of the gantry, and I have the gantry holding the other piece. I think that looks sick. But generally, I've done it. So there's the chest, battle damage chest piece. I think this one would look really good lit up. If you could light it up permanently with the USB, because you're not going to be able to see it on my terrible lighting here, but there's the arc reactor is broken, and it actually looks really cool. And there is enough scuffing on these upper pieces, so these pieces up here are a bit too clean for me. There is scuffing, but where the battle damage piece adds on, like I would like to see the battle damage continue. I would just love for Hot Toys to one day make a full battle damaged piece. I don't need swap out pieces. I'd love to have the option of just like a full battle damaged, like all over, front and back. You know, the battle damaged 85 has great battle damage on it, but I feel like it could be better, like all over the back of it as well as just the front. I think that would be something really cool to do. We're not having to swap out any pieces, kind of like what Jazz Inc. did with the Batmobile. The clean version, dirty version. I'd love the option to get a clean version or a battle damage version, as I think it'll probably be too hard to do swap out pieces for everything, maybe, to do battle damaged. I don't know. I'd be interested in see what other people think about that, because partially battle damaged pieces, it's a cool hack, but I want the whole figure to be battle damaged, not just some scuffs in other areas and then some really battle damaged pieces. I'm talking I want really battle damaged pieces. And so there's like if I'm looking at it here, there's bits of dirt and speckling on there, which is cool, but not like the chest piece, which is much more damaged. I'll just leave that on there for now. Actually, no, I'm going to take it off. I like the clean one on there. I'm going to keep my guy clean for a bit till I decide what I'm going to do. Being that he doesn't do that landing pose that I was hoping he would, if I actually can't pull that look off, even if I did pull that look off, it's not going to go with this base. So I don't even know what I'd do there. So I'm going to have to figure out a way. I'm considering doing a new video after I finish the Black Panther video, where I do on the shelf for my Iron Man display, where I'll finally build my Iron Man display, kind of like I did with the Spider-Verse behind us and the DC verse. I'm eventually going to do an Infinity War and Endgame on the shelf, and then I'll do my Iron Man one where I set up like a full-on diorama-esque, capturing moments, all posed up, doing something fancy for all my Iron Man figures. I think that's coming. That's next. That could be what I do next, or maybe a posing video, another Iron Man posing video, just posing Iron Man figures together, maybe in themes. I don't know. That'd be something I want to do with them. I haven't posed an Iron Man figure up for a while, so I kind of want to get back into building that display. I've been putting off that display, waiting for this figure, and now that he's out, I can finally get to work. And then, you know, there's always going to be something else. Then there's the Mark 6 next year, and then hopefully they reissue the Mark 4, maybe give us a Mark 2. I think that I'm nearly all caught up. Maybe a Mark 43 6 scale. I don't have that. I have the quarter scale of that. I don't know. What are you saying, Renz? You would buy the battle damaged? I'd buy a battle damaged figure if given the option, right? I think I would too. You get a full-on battle damaged version, not just a couple pieces like the chest. It's generally the chest, the forearms, the arm, maybe the shoulders. It's generally that. I want everywhere. The legs, the feet, the back, proper battle damaged. They've been experimenting with the opening up suits like the Mark V suit up, the Silver Centurion, which I don't have yet, which I want to get. I would love, maybe, we'll see. Let me think about it. I'd love it if they gave the option to do that, like they do the suit up version. Juan, what's up, mate? I'm just missing the Mark II and Mark 43. That's what I'm missing in 6 scale. Actually, the Mark 4 and Mark 6. But Mark 6 is good. We're getting that. I just need that Mark 4 in 6 scale. After getting the Mark 4 in quarter scale, I'm in love with that suit. He's so, like, if this Mark 3 is this beefy, I think another Mark 4, if they re-engineered that and did another version of that, I think it would be sick. Or if I could just find the original, because that looks pretty cool too. But I'd get a newer one if they did it, because I would hope that they would do a new base. I would love a Mark IV with the donut display and all those accessories again, but like an actual donut diorama or a shop diorama or something cool, like really delve into that cool side of Tony, the funny side, which we got a bit of in Iron Man 2. Now, as I get ready to wrap up, because I'm going to have to wrap it up here, guys, I've got to get to work. I just wanted to share my thoughts on this guy. I'm loving it. The piece looks great. I'm a bit disappointed I couldn't get him to bend into that position, but I will try that at a later date. So if you do follow me on Instagram or Facebook or on the channel here, if I can pull that pose off where he lands like that, I will do my best to do it. But that'll be something I'll have to try while I'm not live on camera, as risk to not breaking something. But all in all, I love the weight of the figure. I love this head sculpt. Damn, it's making me really think I want to put him, I really want to display him with this head sculpt, which is annoying. But again, I have so many Tony Stark head sculpts. Maybe I'll kit bash. Maybe I'll kit bash him, get him with the singlet or something, and use this one doing something else. Maybe I'll have him in the cave. Maybe have him in the cave working on the Mark 1. That'd be cool. That's the type of stuff I'm getting into now with my collecting. I'm slowing down on purchasing lots of things, and I'm more thinking about how I'm going to build displays and create like art pieces in my room. I really want my shelves to be like an art piece where I can look at it, kind of like that Spider-Man one. And that's actually all going to change soon once I get the rest of the villains from No Way Home and that new Tom Holland. That's all going to change to be Spider-Man Civil War, from Captain America Civil War all the way to Spider-Man No Way Home. And then all my video game stuff will move out into another shelf, and I'll have a full-on Tom Holland Spider-Verse up there, which I'm excited to do. But Iron Man comes first. So we'll be working on that as soon as I finish this Black Panther and Killmonger video. I can't wait to show you guys that. I've been really experimenting with just posing up Killmonger and Black Panther. It's the first time I've posed those figures up, so I'm just experimenting with the suit, how it moves, how does it rebound from doing dynamic poses. So far so good. I'm really trying not to damage those figures, especially that Killmonger, because he's quite old and I don't want to damage that one. The Iron Logan Museum. Yeah, that's kind of like what I want to do though, Renz, like and that takes up a ton of time trying to plan how to do that stuff. So I'm really, that's something I enjoy about collecting. It's not just the getting the figure or getting the piece. It's what can I do with it to make content. I love taking pictures. I love trying to capture moments. I love trying to make it look real or whatever. All that stuff's fun. But then building out my display room is very cathartic. I don't know if you guys who collect feel the same way. Like a part of the collecting where you get to go and do your own thing, work on something. You have a vision and you're trying to implement it, build it out. It's rewarding. It's rewarding when you can do it, and then when you can look at it and show to other people and appreciate it that way. It's something I've always loved about that. So that's one thing I'm really delving into with the collecting, and what you're going to see a lot more on my channel. I'm not into the news or doing what's coming out or any of that type of stuff. It's more about building the display and getting the most out of the collection, and just seeing what fun things these figures can do. Because they're pretty damn cool. They're pretty damn cool. And this Iron Man 3 is no exception. It is, with this base, like, I freaking love the look of this base. I just hope I can get it to work the way I want it to in the display. Because just having him standing there in the way, I guess you could stand like that so you could see the Ironmonger head behind him. I guess that could work. But like, he's on the edge there. Like this foot, it's half off the freaking base. And I want him to have a bit of a stance. I don't want him standing like that where he's blocking the head. You want him to have a bit of a stance. So we'll see. I will experiment very much so what type of cool poses we can get. But all in all, to finally have the character that started it all for me, get me back into my collecting, or into this type of genre again, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man Mark III. Stay tuned for the upcoming poses and posing showcase on this guy, guys. I thank you all for tuning in today. It's a short one, but I was glad to be able to do it and finally get a live unboxing again. So thank you for being here. Renz, thanks for being here, brother. Juan, thanks for being here. Ton, thanks for showing up, mate. William, appreciate it. DS was here, Japoy was here, Butch, Collector Joey, all you guys, thanks for being here often at the start as well. Appreciate it. Anybody who tunes in later, just a quick unboxing to see one of my most anticipated figures. I'm not disappointed. If you're an Iron Man fan, I know you're going to love it. Joey, I know will love this figure. He's a big Iron Man fan too. So all you Iron Man fans, even with some of the limitations with like the arms and things like that, there's enough swap out pieces. There's enough extra things they've put in and detail they've put in. Honestly, in hand, it brings back all the feels of the movie. It makes me want to watch the movie again. And I'll probably terrorize my poor wife this weekend and make her watch the movie again. No doubt. Congrats on the figure, John. Thanks, brother. Super excited to finally have him. Just got here. I'll have to start it again. Yes. Sorry, Lukagi. Yeah, just a quick one, brother. I got to go to work. I got to go to work to pay for these bad boys. But he's awesome. He's so awesome. I can't wait to pair him up with the Mark 1 and the mech test version and create a little Iron Man 1 shrine in the display. He is awesome. True, I was only 30 minutes late. You're good, Renz. You're good. Put it back in the box, please, Rio. No, I can't do that. Hermosa figure. Oh, I can't read that. Maybe I can translate it after. But thank you for being here, Randy. Randy Teller. Is it Teller? Marky? I mean, you're asking the wrong person to try and pronounce things. Randy, thank you for being here, brother. Everybody in the chat, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you're getting him, congrats. He's awesome. For all you Iron Man fans, you're going to be very happy. Thanks for tuning in. This weekend, we'll be back for Loki episode 3 on the rundown. It'll be my Sunday. It's my Sunday, 5:30 a.m., which is generally 5:30, 6:30 p.m. if you're in the US on the Saturday night. Yeah, on the Saturday night. But check the YouTube page. I'll have the link up after I watch Loki today. We'll get the show ready to go for Sunday so we can come in and chat Loki. A lot of the guys here that are in the chat now, we all come in on the rundown. It's just a fun group of guys talking about the show. We go through pictures from the show, break it down, and just have some fun with it. And I can't wait to see the episode. So I'll probably watch that later this afternoon. Other than that, check out my other videos. I just dropped a Loki on the shelf displaying my Loki verse. I've got posing videos, posing showcases, story-styled posing showcases where I tried to do little stories, like my last one being Wenwu versus Shang-Chi, a fighting display showcase. That's out on the channel. So check that out if you're into those guys. Anything posing related or display related, come check out the channel. And if you like my content, do us a favor, hit the like button, notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. Everybody, legends, have a great day, and we'll see you on Sunday. Peace out, guys.